everyone, welcome back to another episode of A Lady's Garden. It is a very nice but warm day today. It's early morning. I've been away for a little while because a lot of things have been going on in our family life. One of our children just graduated high school, and the planning and excitement for that is something that it's just obviously a wonderful feeling, but it's just so much emotion that comes with it, because you remember them walking into kindergarten, and then before you know it, they're walking out as a high school graduate, going to college. So we were in celebration of that, and then Father's Day, and I hope everyone out there, all the dads out there, had a wonderful Father's Day. All the stepdads or the surrogate dads, or the adopted dads, everybody. Just, it's a good time, and we are all very thankful for the blessings that we have. So anyway, I hope everyone's been having a good few weeks, a good day, good weekend, good gardening season. We did get a lot of rain, which we are so thankful for, because the garden was getting a little dry. All the grass that I originally planted, it's all gone. So now the crabgrass is coming in, but you know what? It's okay, it's green, so I'll take it. So I will apologize, and please excuse the patches of grass and crabgrass and no grass in my garden, but I wanted to just give you guys an update. So we're starting on a side that I have never shown before on my tours of my channel. So this is the other side of my garden. The opposite side is the arbor entry, and now on this side we have the gate entry, and this side is a bit undeveloped. Over to this side I have a pine tree that has massive roots, so it's really hard to plant anything underneath, clearly, because the roots on this guy, it's just, it's enormous. I did, however, I was able to get in a holly that I thought, oh, isn't that rude? I don't know if you guys heard that car. Anyway, I was able to get in a holly that's not growing. It's been in the ground for here, I would say, about 3 years, but that's okay. It's alive, so I'll just leave it there. However, on this side, this is a garden bed that I have not shown before. So let's just take a look. There's some boxwoods. This is quick fire hydrangea. I keep calling it firelight. I don't know. Maybe they'll come up with one called firelight. Oh my goodness. Why the noise? I don't want to stop my video, but maybe I should. Okay. I think he's going away the opposite direction. Let's keep going. So here we are. Quick fire hydrangea. Very, very lovely. It's doing really good for me. It's right by a downspout. So my idea was to have a little boxwood hedge, and then the quick fire kind of peekabooing over it, and then right behind that I have a quick fire on a standard. We have some creeping thyme here that's liking its spot. I did a double wall right here because it's kind of on a slope, and the rain pours down here, and some of my mulch would escape. However, we have a sedum. I think it's autumn joy sedum. We have a Medusa allium there. I mean, I'll be honest with you, this bed kind of was like a put anything here kind of thing. Wasn't really exactly a theme. However, what I did do, I bumped it out. So because you guys didn't see it originally, you won't really know, but originally the stonework came right up against these two catnips, and then it kind of went around and it enclosed the standard. So all of the empty space here, that's where I bumped it out, and my hope was to start to eat up as much of the grass space as I could. This is a newly transplanted catnip on this side. I actually took her from the Mother Mary garden. And then up here, there's another garden angel. I have 2 boxwoods. I just tucked in one of the supertunias. Over here, we have 3 grasses. I completely forgot the name of the grasses, but they are loving their spot. I mean, when I bought them, and this bed has been here I would say 4 years. I know, and I never came over here, but 4 years. And when I bought these grasses, they were so tiny. They were as small as those impatiens back there. And then back there, behind there, on the trellis, what I did have was a clematis. And I actually have pictures of that clematis on my Instagram page. It was massive. I mean, it was just a monster. And it was beautiful. And then probably last season, it just started to lose its leaves and get really, not very tidy looking. And it was still alive and wild, but it went through some type of issue. And then this year I just pulled it out. It really wasn't doing that good. So for a space filler, because I did do some work in the Mother Mary garden, which I will show you guys now, I had 3 I believe serendipity alliums, and I just kind of tucked them back here. I didn't want to waste any plants because, my garden has been evolving for the last 15 years. That's how long we've lived here, and I'm still not done. So I didn't want to waste anything. So I just figured, put it in the ground. It'll be fine. Yeah. Yeah, and this is it for this bed. Not much. I'm thinking of putting like mini roses here. Right now it's a little bit of a shade. The sun's coming up, so we're early in the morning, but this area does get some sun. I see some weeds coming through the mulch. I just laid mulch probably about 2 weeks ago here when I opened the bed up. And I'm thankful that the catnip's coming back. These catnips, they're very happy. I see bees on them right now. I don't know if you guys can see them, but they're happy. So we'll see. I think like maybe light pink mini roses. And where I get my mini roses, I see them in our local grocery store. And I just pick them up. They're like $4.99. I think that's a good price for mini roses. Just kind of do a couple of them. Well, maybe not a couple. Maybe like 3 or 4 or 5. I don't know. We'll see. I think I have the space for it. However, so let's take a look at what I've been doing in the Mother Mary garden. I have expanded this bed out yet again. I know. Originally in the spring, I took you guys along and I showed you where I expanded it from where the boxwoods are. So basically where Mother Mary is now, that's where the stonework was originally. And then I bumped it out to where you see the pink Rolly's favorite saline. They have been doing good. Haven't put back any more flush of flowers. I just deadheaded the flowers that were spent. But I went ahead and bumped it out even further. Yes, even more. Because I am trying to gain 1 more garden space to eat up the grass area that I seem to have a hard time growing, but eventually one day we'll get a hold of it. And then while doing that, I also got 2 new hydrangeas. And this hydrangea is something I have not seen before. It is called Evolution Hydrangea. It's a very, very pretty flower. The leaves remind me of the limelight, the little lime. So their leaves has this really intricate kind of edging. If you look at the edges of the plant, I'm sure there's a technical term or a more appropriate term for it, but the flower starts off this white. It ages to a creamy color, so there's the creamy color there, and then it turns into like a really pretty soft pink. And I'm sure you guys have figured in my garden I do have an affection for pink flowers. So I thought it was really, really pretty. And because I haven't seen something in our area like this, and this actually came from one of the big box stores. I mean, they had just a few. So me, being the type of gardener I am in my garden design, and in no way I am calling myself a professional designer, I like to bookend things. So I buy a buddy sometimes with plants, and I place them on either side because my idea is to have a ground cover perennial in the middle. So we have the 3 boxwoods, We have Mother Mary, we have the Rolly's Favorite, we have the 2 hydrangeas, and then in the middle I want to get a low growing perennial. I'm thinking of bluish color, bluish purplish color, just to kind of elevate and complement the pink, the white, and the thundercloud there. But I'm really excited about this area. I did end up taking away the lamium. I did end up moving them, and I moved them back to where they originally were. I just started to fill in that. I wasn't 100% sure about it after they were doing all right, but I wasn't 100% sure, so I went ahead and moved them back. So instead of the lamium, I was going back with the idea, and this actually came from one of the viewers who commented on ajuga, because I did ask what type of ground cover, and she mentioned ajuga, and I've seen ajuga. Originally, I wasn't sure about it, but then I did go to the garden store, as you can see, because I got more plants. But I did go to the garden store, and I saw it. I saw a chocolate chip, and the chocolate chip really, it looked pretty. I think the flowers are like a purpley blue, and it kind of, the coloring of the leaves, of the foliage, it did look kind of calming to this area. And that's what I really want for this area, is to be, actually I want for the entire garden to be very calming, soothing color palette, where it looks pretty. So I'm hoping that I'll see that ajuga again, because by the time I went back it wasn't there as usual. And I'm hoping that maybe I can get a couple of them. I saw where they can't be divided, so even if I got like one container, I can probably start dividing it and slowly, let it fill in. It takes some time, but you have to be patient. But something that I did get as well, and this purchase was actually a couple days ago, so I don't know if on camera they do look a little rough. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this came off of the clearance rack, because that's where I am now, the clearance rack. And this is called Rose Marvel Salvia. So they were on the clearance rack. Got them for a really good price. Brought them home, cleaned them up. They did have spent blooms on them. They are a kind of pinky, more of a pinkish color, but not as brightly pink as the Rolly's Favorite. More of a deeper pink, a rose pink, a deeper rose pink in my opinion. I did do research, so sometimes if I go to the garden center and I see a plant and it's, like these were on the clearance rack, ready to be, probably tossed into a compost bin somewhere, and I saved them, so I'm proud of myself for that. And I told my husband that, it's like, I'm saving them, to justify the purchase. However, I did do my research. They'll be happy in this spot. I mean, you can see they get a little morning sun, but then they'll get a lot of afternoon sun. But I brought them home, cleaned them up, and popped them here. And here I did the 3s. So I'm hoping that, they'll just get established this year, and then hopefully next year they'll be in their glory and shining brightly. Over here, again, as I said, this area, this is the area I haven't shown, is very undeveloped. And there's another garden angel. I do name all my angels, so this one is Flora, because she's holding a bouquet of flowers. I guess no creativity there, right? but the roots of the pine tree, yeah, it's it's a beast. But I do like the tree. And you can see I have a row of them. Just like the other side, the builder put a row of pine trees on the property for, for privacy, but it probably wasn't the best choice for a small garden, suburban garden. However, I was able to have a heuchera. I believe this one's called Mahogany Monster, and I did have quite a few of them spotted around here because I was trying to develop this area probably a couple years ago. This is the only one that survived. This is another type of Japanese holly. I think it's Hilaria. I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly, but she's alive and she's quite happy. Here is the Quantum cherry tree, and this is a spirea. I believe the name is Anthony, but I'm not quite 100% sure, but I believe it's that variety. This is the first time it's given me some flowers. This plant, I must say, is pretty tough because it's been moved at least 3 times. And I put it right back in its spot that it originally was placed. And yeah, it's given me flowers. Of course, it's pink. And it's a very pretty flower. A very pretty flower. I'm sure in the correct spot it would be flowering a lot more. But this is where it is right now. I even thought about moving it over here into this space because I do have some space to play with. Kind of, you know, tucking it back here, but, you know, we'll see. This is our hydrangea tree. So we have the little lime, we have limelight, and this is the limelight on standard. Happy, 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 happy tree. Very happy for it. Like it a lot. So now let's pan around this way. This is double play spirea, and she was flowering very heavily for me. See all the spent flowers there. All of the pincushion, they flower and then they get kind of tired around this time, so they were flowering really heavily, and then I cut them back because all of the spent blooms. I normally don't get back the initial first heavy flush once I cut them back, but that's okay. This is a little lime hydrangea, very happy. We have our sweet drift. They flowered for me very beautifully, very heavily. I just didn't get a chance to. I think I have a couple pictures. Maybe I'll pop them up here, but I didn't, you know, do the tour in time to get it. But they're happy. They are beautiful green foliage. I mean, it looks very nice. There's a little hole there, but I'm not worried about it. And then a couple flowers left. We have our lemon thyme, which looks very happy, very healthy. This side's a little fuller than this one, probably because of the way the sun hits, but hopefully this one will catch up too. We have our Supertunia again. Probably not as happy as it would be in the ground or in a bigger container. This container is pretty tight, and again, the sun isn't, you know, baking on this side back here, so she's a little leggy. But back here, this is the rose bush that I transplanted, or climbing rose I should say. No flower buds, but it is alive, and I am very surprised that it came back, even though I was hoping it came back, so it did. So we'll see what happens with that. Boxwood, back here, there's a Medusa, another Medusa allium. I actually have 2. And probably not the best spot for them, so I'm thinking about moving them. Maybe we'll transplant them to the newly renovated Mother Mary garden. Yeah, they're not happy. You can tell they're alive, but they are not happy, and no sense keeping a plant somewhere that it's not reaching its full potential. I can probably just take them out. They're being just swallowed up by what? Look at the arborvitaes, the boxwood, and the rosebush. However, this is another area that I expanded. If you guys can tell, I expanded the sitting area, the garden bench area, and I'm really, really happy with it. So originally, where those 3 hostas are, that's really where the bench was. And I had the stonework, so if you can tell, let me get this way, where, can't tell because it rained, so everything's nice and dark and rich looking, but where the mulch stopped, right kind of there, right in front of it, there's daffodils. So I came home one day and I said, you know what, I bumped out Mother Mary's garden, I'm going to bump out this garden, because why have a bench and you really can't sit on it? So I decided to bump it out, and I bumped it out quite a lot. Not only did I bump it out, I moved the Green Mountain boxwoods, and I moved this little lime hydrangea, and I think she's actually doing well. She was tucked in kind of there. If you guys can see the sink, even though I did backfill it, she was tucked in there. I pulled her out. I pulled out the boxwoods, and then I pulled out the entire garden, the stonework. And I placed the bench in front, and I kind of tucked back the green mountain, and now we have what we have here, which I'm very happy with. I'm very happy with. Yeah. What I want to do behind it, I'm not sure. Don't know if I want to follow with the ajuga again as the ground cover, just to have a repeat planting in the garden, because my garden's small, so to have, you know, some connections from one side to the next would be pleasing to the eye, I suppose. Or if I want to do astilbe, and I have an astilbe, I have one astilbe that I really, really adore very much, and it's the only one. So I don't know if I want to wait till fall and then divide that astilbe, because it's pretty thick, and place her behind the bench, but in that area in front of the hostas, which are just loving their spot and very, very happy. Yeah, so I'm thinking about that, but I'm not sure. Probably won't happen this season, but we'll see. Definitely won't divide anything or transplant. Well, I shouldn't say I wouldn't transplant anything, because I did transplant a few things already. But we'll see. We'll definitely see. Something that I have changed my mind about. I did have one piece of flagstone that I broke up into many different pieces, and that's what the bench was sitting on. With the newly expanded area, I did have that flagstone, but it didn't look right. It looked too small, because the area is bigger now. So I think I'd rather just kind of hold off, do some research, see if I can find some place that would sell me flagstone individually, because I have tried already, and they want to sell the flagstone as pallets, and I don't need, you know, $500 worth of flagstone. I really don't. I just want a couple pieces. I'm thinking of having, you know, one piece for when you step in, which you can see the bird did its business there. Oh dear. So one piece, one wide piece when you step in, one piece for each leg. So what, 5 pieces? But I want them a good size. Not too big, but definitely don't want them as small as the pieces I have. And if I did find pieces where they weren't as big, I can always fill in with the little pieces I have. What I also did, and I'm not sure if it shows on camera, where you would step in to the bench area, I kind of sunk down the stone a little bit. So I think this is a good, yeah, I sunk down the stone a little bit around where you would step into the bench, so you can actually use it. It's a pretty bench, so I mean it's pretty sturdy as well. So I really like that. If you guys can see back here, I have a lovely blue hydrangea. And this hydrangea actually came from the hydrangea that I originally put where I stained the bird bath. So that dappled willow area where we lost the pine tree, that's where this hydrangea came from. Because the dappled willow obviously isn't big enough, because it's newly planted, to give the hydrangea shade. And the hydrangea started to burn. And I didn't really want that. So I moved it and put it over here, and it looks pretty nice. I mean, I guess in a way, because again, me and my bookending type of design theory, I could have replaced that little lime and put another type of, you know, I think this is Endless Summer hydrangea on that side. I think it would be happy enough with the sun it would be getting, where it wouldn't be scorched. But again, budgets, and kind of have to watch how many things you kind of bring into the garden if it wasn't on clearance right at this time. But you know, I think it'll work. I think it'll be fine. A problem that I've noticed, now here's the reality of gardening, because things aren't always tip top, is this oak tree. This oak tree that I really like very dearly has kind of a lesion. So if you looking straight at it, you can see that dark spot at the kind of at the base. Well, there's a little hole there. I did some research. It seems to be some kind of fungal infection or some kind of infection. So that's a little bit of a bummer because I really don't want to lose this tree. This tree gives the canopy to this area and I really like it. So I'm hoping, you know, it kind of just resolves itself. I mean, I saw some things you can spray, but I don't know really where to go. I don't know if, I mean, might reach out to an arborist just to kind of get an opinion. But I'm hoping I don't lose this tree. Definitely hoping. Over here, all the hostas are in bloom. I did not get to mulch this area yet, but everything is doing okay. A couple of the green white tip hostas, so let me show you guys. Like these, they did not come back as big and beautiful as they went in when I initially put them in. I'm thinking it's because of the voles. Because there really isn't a reason for this hosta not to come back as big as it was last year. And it was pretty big. But what I do see on it, I see a ladybug. Let's see if you guys can see it. Isn't that lovely? Yeah. So it didn't come back as big. I'm thinking the voles kind of ate it, kind of stunted its growth because it was a Francie hosta. Yeah, I think I'm saying it correctly. So, you know, that's how gardening goes. So it's there. We'll just leave it there. Maybe she'll come back next year bigger. Over here, just some more hostas. Kind of some of the same problem over here, where they just didn't come back as big. But, you know, the other ones did. And then over here, this is where I started to sprinkle in a lot more of the lamium. So all of my clippings, or my cuttings, or my dividing, I should say, came from this lamium here. That's very happy. Maybe it's a little too happy. And yes, I have a lot of weeds and whatnot back there, but we're not going to look back there. We'll just focus here. So I divided, or I dug out some of this lamium, and some of it went here, some of it went here, some of it went there, and all those little patches there came from that one lamium. Originally, I had one that kind of trailed, they started to spread, and again, the voles got in the garden, started to eat around the roots, and then some of it died back. I'm hoping that I can kind of make a river of lamium here, possibly transplant eventually, maybe in the fall, these hostas, kind of fill in the middle there, and then have the lamium start to work its way all the way down this border to that tree. So yeah, there, back there we have an Empress Wu hosta, and it is living up to its name. Very beautiful, very huge, and funny thing is, that's an Empress Wu hosta right there on the other side. So it's like, okay, what's going on here? But it's great. This one's very, very impressive. Very impressive. That is a rhododendron hybrid. That's not doing its best. You can see the red leaves, so it's struggling to stay afloat. But again, the voles, I think they just, you know, kind of sent it into shock. I just don't have the heart to pull it out because it's still putting on some type of show. And this is the astilbe. This is the astilbe that I'm talking about dividing or just getting more of. I mean, it's pretty thick. I don't do anything to this plant. I don't fertilize it. I really don't. And it comes back every year, and it's a beautiful color. It's a beautiful flower. I was actually thinking, this is just, you know, this is just kind of spitballing. I was actually thinking of replacing all of these daylilies with this type of astilbe. Not this season, maybe next season. And I would just transplant all of these daylilies to the other side of the house, the gate side, where the gate is. Against the house, I don't have any foundation planting there. I won't even show you guys that yet because it is a blank slate, like completely. Okay, well, I guess we'll stop the tour here. I just wanted to give you guys an update. I guess the video is running a bit longer than I thought I would go. I guess I can talk more than I realize, but however, I hope you guys are all having a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you for to watch. I'm excited to see where the garden takes us this season, because as you can see, I like to give myself work. There was really no reason to expand the garden beds now, but I guess I enjoy being in my garden so very much, and I enjoy planting and just kind of improving and just working on what I have. And I'm very thankful for what I have. I am. And I really appreciate you guys' support and comments, and just the community that's building with my channel. So it's very exciting. It's an exciting experience, and I look forward to continuing to share more with you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Happy gardening, fellow gardeners. Bye. Okay, so one last thing before we completely sign off, and because I don't know what's going to happen, you know, surprises from video to video may happen, different things. I just wanted to give you guys a quick look at this dahlia. So check this one out. This is the only one I was able to grow, and there is a bug on it, but anyway, so check it out. I have 3 buds that are coming out. Isn't that exciting? The only dahlia. So hopefully in the next video, I will be able to show you flowers on this dahlia. Okay, so now we sign off officially. Happy gardening, fellow gardeners. I'll see you guys in the next video.